this is Kate. Welcome to Covert Narcissist 101. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Guys, so this topic is, should you continue explaining to people? Should you continue explaining your side of the story, trying to, see if you can get everybody to understand what's going on, especially as you see the covert narcissist trying to, do what they do. They're very, very good actors. So they are doing what they're doing and people are looking at you and looking at what they're doing this doesn't really line up. Especially if they are all the pillars of the community, or they do all this charity work and, they're generous to the family members that they don't live with. Okay. So should you continue trying to explain your side of the story to this? I think, and this is, my opinion, you have to live with this to understand it. You really have to live with this to understand it. It doesn't even matter if, let's say, they're, for example, the covert narcissist that I had kids with, outside of, people that don't live in our house, he's all cool. He gets along with everybody. He's that guy that is always playing with the kids and laughing and all that stuff. So all my relatives outside of the house, saw a different person, right? So, however, when some of those relatives, moved in with me, they came and stayed, maybe they came for some kind of a school stuff, or in the case of my brother, stayed a couple of months for something, or, they're in transition going somewhere else, and they get to stay here for more than a couple of days, the true person shows up, because these people can't keep that act for too long, right? They reserve this act when they're at home. So you have to live with them to get it. Because by the time my brother lived with us for I think it was a month or two and left, he could not understand, what is wrong with that guy? But however, prior to this, they were like buddies, we're going to go over here and do this and do that. And whatever. But after he lived in the house, he gets it. So that's why I said you have to have lived with these people to understand it. Nothing else you say will make sense to anybody else, especially when they are doing the opposite outside. So should you continue trying to make people understand? No. There is no point. It doesn't matter. You have to live through it to get it. Because half of the stuff you're saying doesn't even make sense to you. Some of the stuff that happened, I still want to wrap my head around it, but it happened and you lived through that. You were there. Unless they come and live with these people in the same house and see how they operate, because the covert narcissist would do what they'll do. Eventually, they'll have everybody working on eggshells. The air is tense. You try to wonder, okay, how is he feeling today? Let me see what I can do to change that. Or let me see, modify myself, twist myself in the pretzel to make sure that, he's okay. You have to be around them all the time, live with them, because this is where in the house is where they do what they do. So for anybody to understand what they're trying to explain, they have to have lived in the same household. And since that is not possible in some cases, you don't bother wasting your time, because the more you talk about it, the more people and then they keep contradicting you with the behaviors, in quote, outside with all these people. So the more you come across looking like, okay, maybe you are the one that won't let go, or you are the one that's, crazy as, in quote, as they said you are, or whatever it is, you're still stuck with them, stuff like that. So unless they live with the person, they can't get it. You have to live through it to understand it. So don't be going beyond, explaining yourself the first time and have people you're trying to convince anybody. You're trying to convince people. There's no point. People that believe it, believe it. People that don't believe it, don't believe it. Like I said, you will have to live through this to understand what's going on. So don't waste your time reliving this stuff, because that's what ends up happening. You're trying to tell your story. Some of the stuff that you forgot will come in your mind as you're telling your story again. So don't bother. You don't need to convince anybody. The people that know you. The people that matter know who you are. And that's all there is to it. That is all there is to it. Everybody else that still needs more evidence, extra attachment and paper clips and video evidence and all that stuff, no, those people will have to live with the narcissist to get it. And you should not waste your time, engaging in all of this. You've told your story. This is what it is. You lived it. They don't have to believe you. They don't have to understand what happened. It does not matter. You are not crazy. You lived through this. And that's enough. That should be enough to get you going to your recovery, get you moving to where you need to go, get you moving away from the toxicity. Anybody else that need extra evidence will need to move in with a covert narcissist to get it, for it to make sense. Other than that, it will not make sense at all. So don't bother. All right, guys, get a hold of your mind and everything will fall into place. Please like and share. Take care.